When starting a loving relationship, we often think about giving, but this isn't always easy to realize. Love isn't just about offering what we have, it's about truly understanding the other person's needs and meeting what is genuinely necessary. Without sincere giving, love can become dependency or even a way to fulfill our own needs. The key question is, what do I have to give? To answer this, we need time to pause and reflect deeply on what we have genuinely offered to our loved ones. It might be something simple yet meaningful, like a warm meal, a jacket on a rainy day, or a comforting hug when they feel uneasy. These gifts aren't always material. Sometimes they are the emotional or spiritual values we bring to them. And the crucial question is, do these gifts truly meet their deeper needs? At times, we might think we are doing our best, like giving someone a big house, yet they might not feel happy with that gift. Giving isn't about what we think is best. It's about understanding and responding to the other person's needs. Sincere giving is a deep connection, and this requires us to truly listen and understand. Love isn't always about endlessly giving. Sometimes what the other person truly needs is our presence and profound care. Love is quiet. It's the moment we realize that sometimes letting someone have the freedom to return to themselves is the most precious gift. For a relationship to truly endure, it's not always about giving continuously, but knowing when to step back. In those moments, we must ask ourselves, what is best for them right now? We can't always act to help. Sometimes, doing nothing is what makes the other person feel comfortable and free. Ultimately, relationships are not fixed equations. Human emotions are impermanent. What someone needs today may change tomorrow. Instead of trying to meet every demand, sometimes we just need to pause and observe, understanding that relationships require quietness, insight, and the ability to step back at the right time. In relationships with loved ones, the issue isn't always about the actions we need to take, but knowing when to remain silent. To help someone through difficulties, sometimes the most essential thing is to step back and give them the space they need. Silence is not a lack of care. It's a way of giving the other person a sense of respect and freedom from pressure. When loved ones face difficulties, they don't always need advice or analysis from us. Sometimes all they need is our presence, without any additional actions. They don't expect us to do more, but simply hope to be listened to sincerely and without judgment. In these moments, our silence can be a precious gift, a sign of trust and acceptance. Sharing emotions or opening up isn't always easy, as loved ones may fear that being vulnerable will lead to judgment or imposition. If they choose to share with us, it's a sign of trust. That's why it's essential for us to listen without interfering, without rushing to provide solutions. Just being there and allowing them to express themselves fully is often enough. In difficult situations like depression or anxiety, loved ones might feel hesitant to share for fear of being judged. However, if we can listen without reacting strongly, without evaluating or making them feel pressured, we become a trustworthy companion, someone they can turn to for safety and calm. When loved ones need to express negative emotions, sometimes a few moments of silence are all that's required. If they show anger or frustration, avoid jumping into arguments or defending yourself. Instead, prepare yourself to receive all these emotions without overreacting. Remaining calm before confronting intense feelings helps us stay patient and avoid getting swept up in their emotional waves. True love isn't just shown during joyful moments, but also in times when loved ones are far from perfect, when they face challenges and feel vulnerable. Real love isn't about loving only when everything is fine, but about being a steadfast source of support when they need it most. They need someone who can be patient, listen, and provide comfort without overcomplicating things. If you only offer material help, it's not enough to become an emotional anchor. To be that person, you must be ready to share feelings without judgment, and above all, to listen. Sometimes, simply sitting quietly beside them, saying nothing, just being there, is enough to bring them a sense of peace and calm. Truly listening is not an easy task, especially when faced with blame or criticism from loved ones. Statements like, "You've made my life miserable," "What kind of person are you?" or "You're the source of my emotional scars," can leave us deeply hurt. These moments feel like personal attacks, even though they may not always be intended to cause harm. In these situations, calmness and patience are crucial. To help our loved ones, we must learn to stay grounded and not let their negative emotions pull us down. Even if we feel criticized, the truth is that they are grappling with unresolved pain. If we lose our composure or lack enough love and patience, we may also feel drained and unable to continue supporting them. Sometimes anxiety, doubt, or instability can lead loved ones to harm themselves emotionally. These negative feelings often trigger old wounds, making them irritable or frustrated. As those who care for them most, we inevitably bear the brunt of their struggles and the negative emotions they bring. It's easy to forget that they may be dealing with deep psychological challenges, like depression, which we might not fully recognize. The image we hold of our loved ones is often tied to memories of them as strong, accomplished individuals who once took pride in themselves. When they change, when they're no longer the same, it can be difficult for us to accept. We might misinterpret their struggles as intentional attacks and, in turn, react with anger or defensiveness. However, if we can approach these moments with mindfulness, without attachment, and understand that our loved ones are wrestling with unhealed pain, our perspective shifts significantly. Listening and understanding become tools for approaching them more delicately. When loved ones reach out to us in difficult times, they don't always need advice. They simply need our presence and judgment-free listening. We must prepare ourselves for unexpected emotions because life rarely follows a script. One crucial thing we often overlook is the need to love ourselves. Only when we can love and care for ourselves can we become a steady anchor for our loved ones. Without self-love, we cannot offer complete love to others or provide the help they need most. We are rarely taught about the importance of self-love. Society, family, and friends often instill in us shared use and pre-established norms, but seldom guide us on how to nurture our inner selves. This leads us to seek love externally, without realizing that to truly love others, we must first love ourselves. I want to learn how to love myself, but I don't know where to start or what environment can help me cultivate that. Yes, starting with yourself is the most crucial first step. When we don't love ourselves, we often seek to love others in hopes that they will love us back. It might sound strange, but in reality, we often rely on others' love to feel worthy and accepted. However, true love isn't about loving someone else with the expectation of being loved in return. It's about loving unconditionally, without depending on reciprocation. We must remember that self-love is not selfish. It's the solid foundation that enables us to genuinely love and support others. Unconditional love begins with ourselves, and only then can we share that love with those around us. When we understand that loving someone doesn't always bring them joy or satisfaction, we realize that love is not always easy. Especially during challenging moments, we might only manage to do our best in brief instances, and during the toughest times, we may feel helpless. When we are overly involved, tensions can arise, and sometimes we unintentionally hurt our loved ones. Emotional turmoil, anxiety, or frustration can lead to conflict, and these conflicts can leave both sides feeling deeply wounded. One of the best ways to protect both yourself and your loved ones in such moments is to communicate as soon as you feel tension building. For example, when you notice yourself about to lose your temper, you could say clearly, "I'm feeling angry right now." This simple statement can prevent unconscious actions that might cause harm. Sometimes you might even need to ask for some space to stabilize your emotions, and when you do, things will often feel lighter. Additionally, finding a quiet place to calm your emotions is essential. This might mean stepping outside for fresh air, meditating, or doing something that helps release negative energy. These actions can prevent regret later from acting impulsively. When you realize you're being overwhelmed by negative emotions, informing your loved ones can help them better understand your emotional state and avoid being hurt by unintentional actions. While you can't force them to respond in a certain way, at the very least, they'll be more empathetic and aware that your behavior wasn't intentional. Equally important is presence and listening. Sometimes, supporting a loved one doesn't mean doing everything for them. Simply sitting together, walking side by side, or meditating together can create a peaceful space. Love isn't about doing it all for someone, but helping them rediscover balance and serenity in their life. To achieve this, each person must turn inward and find peace within themselves. When everyone can cultivate inner tranquility, they'll stop unintentionally hurting each other. At that point, relationships will become deeper and more enduring. We also need to recognize that while we may be an important part of our loved ones' lives, they can still thrive without us. However, this doesn't mean we care any less. On the contrary, true love is about genuinely wishing for their peace and happiness. Not because we need them, but because we sincerely want them to be happy. The first step to achieving this is to create peace within yourself. This doesn't mean speaking out, condemning, or blaming. Sometimes, simply being silent, listening, and feeling the presence of the other person is enough. Then, the next step is to help your loved one rediscover the peace within themselves, so they too can cultivate that calm for their own heart. Loving someone doesn't mean doing everything for them. It's about learning to understand and being ready to stand by them during tough times. When we can help them find peace, we become a source of positive love in each other's lives. True peace is a magical state, a delicate moment where, when we pause and settle down, everything around us becomes lighter. When the mind is cluttered with chaotic thoughts and turbulent emotions, peace is hard to grasp. But as everything quiets down, free from worry or demands, we can experience a space of silence and non-attachment, and that is peace. Even something as small as anxiety or unease can instantly shatter peace. Yet when we reclaim that calm, even for just a few fleeting moments, our hearts feel lighter, allowing us to restore balance within our souls. When the mind is overwhelmed by negative emotions like stress or anger, it becomes easy to see everything through a negative lens, perceiving others as enemies or even monsters. In these moments, the world around us feels like an uncontrollable game. To find peace again, the first step is to return to yourself, refusing to be swept away by the chaos of the external world. This is the magic trick: letting go of ego, releasing negative emotions, and calming scattered thoughts. A simple yet effective practice is to focus on your breath, the present moment, or the sensations in your body. This will guide you back to yourself and help you reclaim your peace. When the mind and body are in harmony, a stable anchor emerges within. Worries and feelings of disconnection fade away, leaving only a glimpse of tranquility. And in just one moment of peace, the heart begins to soften and the soul finds its sanctuary within. Peace is not something we can find externally. It is a delicate state that must be nurtured from within. It does not arise from circumstances or others, but stems from our own hearts, from dwelling in the present moment. When peace blooms within us, even if only briefly, we can feel a profound sense of serenity and lightness in every moment. To transform how we see and experience life, we need a method, one that focuses on mindfulness and returning to our inner selves. This practice helps calm the soul, slow down chaotic thoughts and emotions, and expand our ability to perceive and feel more deeply. When we focus on the present, we begin to sense the stillness within and shift how we view life. By turning inward rather than being swept up by external distractions, we find peace. It feels like a flower blooming in our hearts, bringing life, lightness, and coolness to our being. When our hearts are at peace, everything around us becomes clearer and more harmonious. The ordinary transforms into something special and deeply meaningful. Peace gives us clarity, like a light emanating from a calm and conscious soul. In the past, we may have been driven by emotions, reacting impulsively. But when peace resides within us, we can pause, view things from a new perspective, and respond thoughtfully rather than hastily. Peace is not a fleeting emotion, but a profound state imbued with stillness and inner strength. It doesn't come from external conditions, but from within, through dwelling in the present. Peace is like waves in the shore. They depend on each other to exist and thrive. The waves need the shore for stability, and the shore needs the waves to be replenished. This mutual interaction strengthens both. Peace also reveals the value of mutual support and interaction in our relationships. When we find peace in our hearts, we understand that it grows through sharing, empathy, and the support of loved ones. Peace isn't something we achieve alone. It requires connection with those around us, who help us reflect on ourselves and live more fully. Our hearts find peace when we slow down and feel the presence of our loved ones, when past pain has faded and love and compassion return. In the past, we might have sought advice from them, hoping they'd guide us. But now what we truly want is for them to see us with understanding and love, not just to help, but to connect deeply. We want to share our emotions and thoughts with them without the need for immediate solutions. How then can we bring peace into the hearts of our loved ones? We might provide wealth, material goods, or power, but are these the things that truly bring them peace? Perhaps the only way is to become a person of peace ourselves. When we cultivate positive energy within, when we discover inner peace, we become a source of inspiration and a steady anchor for those we love. But can we truly achieve this, or are we skilled at conquering others yet incapable of conquering ourselves? Even if we possess many talents, without peace in our hearts, our presence can still bring exhaustion and sorrow to our loved ones. They don't need to know how capable or compassionate we are. They simply need to feel peace within themselves. Peace is not easily achieved. It is rare and incredibly valuable. The only way to truly help loved ones is to create positive energy that allows them to find peace within themselves. Peace arises from presence and attentive listening, not from hurried advice or actions. If we fail to provide this, we risk losing them, and there is no pain greater than witnessing someone we care about suffer, unable to help. Peace is not a destination, but a journey. To support our loved ones, we must cultivate inner peace and create a still space within ourselves. When we can do this, we become a source of love and stability, helping them sense the peace they need. Only by finding our own inner peace can we join hands with our loved ones to overcome life's challenges and sorrows. Inner peace cannot be achieved through external advice or care alone. It is an internal state each person must discover for themselves. Belief in one's ability to find peace is the most critical factor. You may wonder if this is possible, and the answer lies in learning to care for yourself, to listen, and to understand your own deeper needs. True love is not just a fleeting emotion, it is action, the creation of a positive and peaceful space for others. When loving our loved ones, we need not only understanding and empathy, but also patience and positive energy to help them find their own peace. True love is not about loving them for what they give us, but for their imperfections as well. Spending all your time and energy on others might lead you to neglect your own self-care. While understandable, this lack of care for yourself means you won't be able to create a peaceful environment for others. Peace begins with understanding that caring for yourself is not selfish. It is the foundation for sharing and supporting your loved ones more effectively. When your soul is at peace, you'll realize that life's struggles are opportunities for growth. Instead of being swept away by negative emotions, you can embrace them as lessons. Each difficult moment becomes a chance to understand yourself better and learn how to love others more deeply. With peace in your heart, you will no longer feel hurt by the negative words or actions of others. Instead, you'll view them with compassion and understanding. To love others in the right way, you must first return to yourself. If you continue chasing external things while neglecting your inner care, you won't be able to truly love anyone. Love isn't easy, nor does it always bring immediate satisfaction. But the right kind of love begins when you master yourself and can provide positive energy to others. When your soul is at peace, you can see your loved ones not as strangers, but as lovable, trustworthy people worthy of your love. You'll no longer be swept away by negative emotions or unnecessary conflicts. True love is when you can see your loved ones through the lens of understanding and compassion, accepting and loving them unconditionally. If there's one precious gift we can offer one another, it's the ability to help restore peace within. When you start to desire a return to yourself, it's a commendable step. Many people have yet to realize this. They remain stuck in blaming circumstances or others instead of seeking change within. Happiness isn't found in external things. It arises from the depths of our being. Once you realize this, you'll also see that pain and suffering are merely reactions of your own mind. At that moment, you'll want to return inward, seeking ways to heal old wounds. The first step is awareness, beginning to see yourself clearly and nurturing positive values from within. To do this, you must learn to reconnect with yourself. There's no need to rush or search for complex methods. Start with the simple and familiar aspects of daily life. One of the easiest ways is to dedicate time solely to yourself. Turn off your phone, avoid conversations, skip the music, just you and your surroundings. Feel the wind, gaze at the sky, listen to the waves, or observe the soft steps of animals. This is the first step, gentle yet profound. Additionally, physical activity is a fantastic way to reconnect with your body. When you exercise, you become aware of each movement, each breath, and the flow of your body's energy. It's a way to return to yourself, to feel the stillness and your presence in the moment. Activities like running or cycling offer opportunities to immerse yourself in the calm, requiring no interaction with others, just you and your body's motions. Once you're accustomed to caring for your body through light exercise, transitioning to yoga can be a transformative next step. Yoga not only encourages awareness of each movement, but also provides a chance to listen to your body and recognize every sensation and breath. Over time, you'll notice relaxation, but you'll also encounter moments of discomfort and long-buried emotions. These moments, when you face the unease, are opportunities to delve inward and begin healing those old wounds. Love is not an exchange, but a presence. It is when you listen, understand, and simply be there with them, without needing to do anything other than empathize. When you love, you don't wish to change the other person. You only want them to feel safe and supported by true love. If you still have feelings for them, don't hesitate to give them another chance. But if you realize that the feelings are no longer there, and you need freedom to return to yourself, don't hesitate to walk that path. Letting go is not an end. It is a liberation for both of you. Allow your life to continue freely, without lingering in negative emotions for either of you. In painful moments, when you feel the urge to react, remember that peace will guide you to handle things the right way. Don't rush to say or do anything while your heart is still in turmoil. Wait until you feel calm, when you have enough positive energy to speak gently and wisely. Take responsibility for your life, and I will focus on mine. This is the only way to avoid falling into despair and to protect yourself from further hurt. Ultimately, when you find inner peace and can maintain steadfastness and patience in every situation, you'll understand that self-love is not an easy journey. But through it, you learn how to love not only yourself, but also those around you. Inner peace becomes the foundation that helps you face life fully and love sincerely. When you love yourself, you no longer seek perfection in others. Instead, you discover perfection within yourself. And when you love rightly, you empower your loved ones, whether they're your children or your partner, to find independence, strength, and confidence within themselves. Love is not about control, but about offering support so they can stand strong and thrive. The journey of love and finding peace is not always easy, but it's the path to building a meaningful and fulfilling life. Remember, patience, understanding, and inner peace are the essence of loving yourself and those around you wholeheartedly.